up, my community? If it's your first time, welcome. And if you are returning, welcome back. Thank you so much for watching. So I have found over the years, it's been interesting to learn that there are unsung heroes who never really received the recognition they deserve for the contribution that they provided to our Black history. And so for Black History 2021, I decided that I wanted to set out to interview some amazing Black individuals who are doing amazing things and who are leaving their mark in our Black history. And so today, I would like to introduce to you, for some, and reintroduce to others, Miss Christina Stanley.
Hello, Dina. Hi, how are you?
Hi, I am doing wonderful. How are you doing?
I am doing great. Thank you so much for asking.
Good, good, good. So Christina and I actually go back quite a few years. I think we met maybe back in 2013
I think
or
about.
so. Mm-hmm. We met as strangers through church, but have since become like sisters from another mister. So
Absolutely.
She's one of those amazing individuals that you just love to have in your circle. And so I'm honored that she has taken time to do this interview with me today. So thank you so much, Christina, for giving me your time. And I just look forward to learning more about the amazing things that you're doing and being able to share it with my community. So we'll just jump right on into it, girl.
Okay, sounds good.
Why don't you tell us about yourself? Tell us about your business, what you have going on. Let's just hear a little bit about you.
Okay, so my name is Christina Stanley. I am an author. I recently authored a children's book this year, actually, entitled "Remember Me from Heaven: Helping Children from Sorrow to Joy," and that's actually how my business started. So the book was in honor of my grandmother who passed in 2019. And then I started a business called JoyUp Services, which is a grief support service for children and adults who have experienced a loss of a loved one, who just needs that extra support, because I found that I needed a lot of support that I didn't know I needed when my grandmother passed. And I just kind of needed an ear to listen and, to know that I wasn't alone during the grieving stages, which, is no ending to that. So there's still some process that I'm actually working through myself with that. But in that, still wanting to help others, especially children, with understanding grief and understanding, that, the person that they looked up to, the person that they were always maybe around, or the person that, was always there for the holidays or their birthdays, is no longer there. And, a lot of times children are not able to process that fully.
Absolutely. And I mean, you said so many nuggets there, and you pretty much answered my next question too, because you're totally fine, because my question was going to be what encouraged you or inspired you to go into this business. And like you said, a lot of times, especially if you have never experienced grief, you don't really know what to expect. And even if, I often say that even if someone has experienced the same kind of loss that I had, like, a grandparent, or my brother, is in heaven now. You still can't always say exactly how another person is going to feel, even though they may experience a similar type of loss. And you mentioned that you felt like whenever your grandmother passed, that you didn't realize that there was some support that you needed. Would you like to kind of go a little bit more into that?
Absolutely. And I'm sorry. I for those of you who don't know, I used to teach. So I taught elementary school. I taught fifth grade for probably about 6 years or so. And I taught second grade last year. So I really have just a heart for children. And that's another reason why I wanted to write a children's book, besides, having it for the memory of my grandmother's grandchildren and grandchildren. I wanted to also just, help children, because I just have a really, just big heart for children. But when she passed, my grandmother was like just this really strong individual. So I was trying to emulate her in a lot of ways when she passed. And, so I took on, like, I didn't cry at all in the hospital. Like, I think I maybe shed a couple of tears, and I like sucked them back in, and that was that. So I was like, I'm going to be strong for her. I know she's good. She's healed. She's in heaven. And I know she wouldn't want me to be up here crying and carrying on, because I know where she is. But in trying to be strong, she lived with me. So then going back to the house, I had to basically call the apartment complex we were in. I had to call the bill collectors that, kept calling. And every time it was, my grandmother passed, my grandmother passed, my grandmother passed, like over and over and over again. And again, only because she had lived with me, I had to take all that on pretty much by myself. And so again, not realize I was just, in my mind, I'm just doing, okay, I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to get all this stuff in order, because it's just me now. So even with bills, she was paying some bills, so I had to get her name off of the bills, and things like that. And again, it's just the same repetition that I had to talk to them about her passing, not knowing that it was affecting me. So this had gone on, I had, tried to survive on, just being strong for about a good month, until I was in the store and I saw a poinsettia, and it was one of the flowers that were her favorite Christmas flowers that I always bought for her for Christmas. And I broke down. Like I don't even know what I had in my cart. Like I just left the cart and like got into my car and cried. And I was like, what is wrong with me? Like I've been okay. Like I've been fine for like this whole time. I didn't cry at the hospital, didn't cry at the memorial service. Like I've been good, in my mind. But at that point, I didn't realize I was having a grief trigger. And it wasn't until I went to Grief Share, which is a support system for people who have lost loved ones. And I told them what happened, because I thought I was crazy. And they basically told me, it was a grief trigger. It was normal. And what a grief trigger is, for those who don't know, is basically a memory. And it could be a scent. It could be something that you see. It could be a place. It could be a song. It could be anything, a memory that could trigger, a time that you share with the loved one that was lost. And it could just cause overwhelming emotion that you weren't prepared for, because I was not prepared. I was shopping. I was happy. So I was not prepared for that at all. And then I had to realize, like, Christina, it's okay to not be this strong person. Like, it's okay to show emotions. It's okay to talk about it. It's okay if if you're feeling sad, if you're not, if you're feeling, to really just process, because my grandmother was my best friend. Like I literally was up under her since I was 3 years old. So, we were just always together. So, and I had lived here, I've lived in North Carolina, about 8 years. So I've been pretty much around her my whole life, but more since then. And then when my grandfather, her husband, passed about 4 years ago, that's when I moved back in with her to just help her out. So we just been like this. Yeah. So I didn't realize the gravity of her loss, and trying to be this, trying to be like her so much, and trying to be so strong. And, just not really knowing how to process that for myself. So once I went through that process with Grief Share and with talking about it, and with really, being okay processing my feelings, no matter what they were, I wrote the book, my children's book. And then I wanted to start a business also to help others, with processing those emotions as well.
That is so awesome. And you know what? Listening to you talk, it just makes me think about how, especially as Black women,
Mhm.
we tend to think that we have to be so strong all the time
Yeah.
that when we do actually experience emotion,
Mm.
we actually think we're crazy.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that is just it's just kind of like a real testament to how we have been conditioned as
Mm.
women and as Black women
Mhm.
to carry ourselves throughout life. We have to be the ones that carry the family, like you said,
Mhm.
going through all of that you had right after your grandmother passed. Here you are having to go through all those steps, calling all these people, reliving this reality over and over and over again without really having that shoulder to lean on to say,
Right.
I'm not okay.
Right.
You
Right.
know, and sometimes we don't even realize we need that shoulder to say I'm not
Mhm.
okay until we have that breakdown moment. And
Yeah.
then, like you say, you're like, whoa, what the heck is going on here? You know?
Right. Right.
Because I mean, I'll just just share that even though my brother, he was killed back in 2008, and although it's been what 12 years now. Is that 12 years? Look, is my addition right?
Yeah, I think
Like
so.
12, from 2008. So about
Yeah,
12 years
about
now.
12. Mm-hmm.
And I still will find myself like for the most days, I'm totally fine. But then
Mm-hmm.
there may be a moment where I'm just taking my shower and just like you said, I
Mm-hmm.
didn't know that it was called a grief trigger, but just
Mm-hmm.
some kind of random thought will just run through my mind about him, and all of a sudden I'm like feeling myself get emotional, and just like wanting to reach out to him and give him a hug and say, bro, I love you, I miss you, and but as you go throughout life, you just feel like, okay, I'm supposed to get over this at some point. I'm just supposed to
Mm-hmm.
be, and it's like, do you ever really get over it? Not that you don't learn to live a healthy life,
Mm-hmm.
because we have to learn to move forward.
Yes.
Otherwise, we'll just live a stagnant life and then we'll be deteriorating.
Right.
But I think it's okay to not always feel like, okay, I'm just completely over this. I don't
Mm-hmm.
ever have to feel anything about this again. I'm good. It's okay to have those moments.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Like I said, it's been a little over a year now, and I still have those moments. I recently moved from where we were living together, and that was the hardest thing I've ever done, because it was so many memories there. On one end, I wanted to stay because of the memories, but then on the other end, I knew I had to move on because of the memories. I couldn't really, like, no matter what I did to it, I couldn't make the place we were staying my own. So even now, like, some days, especially now, because she was the glue to our family,
Mm-hmm.
especially during the holidays. And like, even now, it's like, like going through, another holiday without her here. It's like, those memories come back, or those times come back where sometimes I'm just like, like, I really have to, sometimes I try to busy myself from
Mm-hmm.
not thinking
Mm-hmm.
about it. But sometimes I'm still learning to really just sit in those moments. If I need to cry, cry. If I need to write in my journal, write in my journal. If I need to just talk to God or talk to her just about how I'm feeling. Like you said, like
Yes.
I just want a hug.
Yes.
And it's
Yes.
like, just knowing in that God can, not literally, but he can, in a sense, wrap his arms around us so we can feel that love, feel that comfort, feel that peace. And he understands how we feel. And it's not,
Yeah.
like you said, it's not this, this taboo thing, especially with Black women, as you said, because
Mm-hmm.
we're looked at as supposed to be, okay, you have to run everything. And you have to, like, if someone like a predominant figure like a grandmother passes, is basically like the next person in line, which is the daughter. Okay, now they have to be the person who kind of steps up to the family. So it's almost
Yep.
like this. You don't have, like you said, you don't have
Time.
time for your emotions. Now you have to, step up, basically take on take on the role of the person, and that's not, you can't do that. Like last year, again, I tried to outdo her for the holidays. I cooked so much food.
Well, listen, I just have to say kudos to you for cooking, okay, a meal, because girl, let's just
like, and and this year I'm not, again, but due to me moving and things like that, I'm really not doing anything. So it's like, I almost feel like, okay, I need to do something to honor her, but it's like, it's okay not to have to be on this pedestal all the time, especially with dealing with grief and the loss of a loved one. And just to sit in those feelings, is to be okay having those moments, even like you said, whether it's 12 years, whether it's a year after that loved one has passed. I really don't think there's ever an ending point. Yes, we work towards progress. Yes, we work towards, one of the stages is acceptance. We work towards, be like actually accepting the fact that they had passed. Because for a while I had, I knew she did in my mind, but it didn't click, here. So really, accepting that, but also not getting to the place, having those moments, but not getting to the place where you're depressed.
That's
not
right.
Getting to the place where you're not talking about anything. So even though sometimes I may not talk to a person, a lot of times I'll just talk to God or write out how I feel, just so I can get my feelings out. So yeah.
So good. So many nuggets there. And you, like you said, I mean, it is so true, the whole idea of acceptance. Because even like you said, my grandmother, she recently passed also. And that's one of the hardest things, is to realize, like, she really is gone. Like, no, she's really gone. Like, no, when I go to grandma's house, when I go to grandpa's house, it's not that she's gone to the store, or that she's gone to, my auntie's house. She's literally no longer here on earth. And that's sometimes something that is hard to process.
It really
And just, and just like you were saying, it's one of the huge things for me now, especially have becoming, a mother and a wife. I realize, like, self-care is hugely important. And I don't think that we really, like, as we've said, as Black women especially, have realized how important self-care is for us, because you find yourself just getting irritated, frustrated out of doing all these things. And now, you're blowing up at everybody. Right. And it's just kind of like, well, stop, take a moment, take care of yourself. And like you said, going straight from, okay, my grandmother's passed, now I got to be the matriarch myself. And it's like, where in there is your time? So it's like, you deserve that moment. You deserve that moment. So a lot of good nuggets there. And I want to sort of kind of, not to, jump away from this subject, but I want to get a little bit into your business, about your JoyUp Services and becoming an author and all that good stuff. I wanted to ask you about some of the challenges that you faced in actually establishing your business and getting it up and running. What were some of the challenges that you have faced in regards to your business?
Okay. So I know it was Juneteenth, but I actually got my business account on Juneteenth. But before then, I had to get my EIN and everything, and from the county. So just really researching those things, not knowing exactly what I needed to do to establish being a sole proprietor. And then also, now going through the steps of having a LLC. Just getting that together, learning about what I need to do for taxes as a business. And then just, one of the things that was hardest for me was establishing content for it, because I knew what I went through, but actually just establishing the content for others. So where it's not just, okay, this is what I did, but more around, this is, tips or advice, for what someone else may go through that may not have been the same as me. So that was hard, because I did content for children, I did content for adults, and I did content for parents. and I only have my point of view, which I'm not a parent, nor my child. So that was just hard to, really sit down and say, okay, what do I need to say in this content, or what tips or what advice do I give in this content where it's not just directly related to me. And then, honestly, just trying to run the business. At the time I started, I was still teaching, so I was trying to virtually teach and trying to get all these things together. So just trying, honestly, just delegating time to where I was doing lesson plans and grading, but also making sure I was doing my content, making sure I was marketing, and that's been a huge learning process. Marketing my book, marketing guidebooks I have to go along with it, or tip books I have to go along with my JoyUp Services, and then marketing myself as well as an author and as a businesswoman. Just marketing myself, to get out there, to let people know that I do have a support service for grief, and it is for children as well as adults as well. So that's, I think, been the I wouldn't say hardest, but it's been the most learning experience I've had. And still learning, through this, especially through the pandemic, how to go about that, as well, because my services are virtual. So yeah.
That is, and look, you know what, where you were saying just knowing where to start and being able to find the resources, man, yeah. I'm telling you that is a struggle. So, when you face these challenges, what encouraged you and motivated you to keep going? What was your motivating factor to keep pushing through?
Well, when I first started writing my book, I was working with Sharonda Green Christopher of Dreams Global. And I told her, I said, I need you to stay on me because, like I said, at that time I'm from New Jersey. So when I was writing my book on my, I was actually using my phone because it was on Google Drive. So when I was writing my book, I said, I need you to stay on me because I'm going home and I don't want to get off task. I want to meet, the deadlines and stuff. So she was like, okay, you're going to go to the airport 2 hours early and you're going to find a space you want to sit. And I was like, oh, okay. So I did. But like even in the airport, like I'm like tears are streaming because again, I didn't realize how much it had actually affected me. So I'm over here like, I look so crazy right now. Like I'm just tears just streaming. And like, I'm not talking to anybody. I'm on the phone trying to, write. And I'm like, Lord Jesus. So I took time to write in the hotel I was in. And again, this was pre-COVID. And then, I was recommended to when I did have the book, she recommended me to another program, to basically, because I had told her I wanted to get out of the classroom. So she recommended me to another program. And I was doing that again while teaching. So, but it wasn't easy to do that, just because of, a teacher's job, it just doesn't end. So I'm like, trying to do the homework for that, as well as, grade papers and do lesson plans and everything like that, afterward. So honestly, the thing that motivated me the most, was my grandmother. Yeah. I wanted to again, just keep her memory alive. I wanted to do something to honor her. I wanted to help, again, her grandchildren, her great grandchildren remember her, but also help other children who may have experienced grief. So that's a lot of what my initial motivation was her. Yeah. And like one of the things that you said, and when you were talking about the challenges, is working a 9 to 5, or in your case as a teacher, is a 9 to 9, Monday through Sunday. So, and trying to do that and, put time into the business that you're trying to establish and create, it is tough. Yes. I have figured that out, and you are right. But it's amazing that we still have those motivating factors that keep us going and that keep us pushing to do it, because we know in the end that it'll be worth it.
even if it's just that you get to acknowledge your grandmother and keep her memory alive. It's just all the reason why it is worth it.
Absolutely.
So that's amazing.
Thank you.
So, what advice would you give to someone who says, Christina, I'm trying to start my own business. I keep jumping over hurdles. I keep hitting walls. What advice would you give to that person?
To keep going, honestly, because when I published my book, I had a lot of, I don't want to say issues, but I had a lot of hurdles when I was publishing my book. What I had submitted originally wasn't on the first copies, and then I had to resubmit it again, and people had pre-ordered, so I had to wind up resending books out to people that I had given the incorrect book to, without, again, not to my knowledge, because I had submitted everything correctly. And then, just figuring out KDP, which was the online, book, to have your book published and on Amazon and everything like that. But and it was so many times I wanted to quit. I was like, but again, in that, just knowing how far I had already come, and I said, you know what, Lord, like, you're going, I honestly, it was prayer, and it was, just the encouragement at that time of Sharonda, like, she was really working with me and really encouraging me, just to finish and to continue to finish publishing it. And then again, starting my business, she helped me kind of navigate that part as well. And then I had another friend, who recommended me to a marketing service. And she let me know I need to get my, EIN for my sole proprietorship and everything like that. So just, again, knowing what steps to take from there. But honestly, I would just, advise to just keep pushing, because, if it's not, this is just my belief. If it wasn't that hard, that, like, it would be easy, basically. So if the enemy, it may not always be the enemy, but if the enemy is trying it, so it's, against something, pushing against it so hard, it must be, it must be God. It must be something that God wants you to do, that God is wanting you to get out, and just to keep pushing, and just to keep, knowing what you have in mind. It may not look like how what you had in mind. It may not look like it, but to just keep pushing, just to keep, getting those resources, researching what you need to do, researching, how to market, what you need to do to start either a sole proprietorship or an LLC, having a business account and everything like that. And really, talking to, people in the bank, who will help you to understand that more about what you need to do. So yeah, I would just say to keep pushing, just keep, and to not give up. I know it's so easy to give up, but just, if you want something bad enough, just to work towards it a little bit each day.
That's it. That is so true. And like you said, sometimes it feel like once you get started and you get into the thick of it, you're like, okay, I might have bit off a little bit more than I can chew.
Yeah.
I might be in over my head. What was I even thinking to try to start doing this?
Right.
Because I'm in the process now, starting the nonprofit 501c3 for the scholarship that my mom and I had started in honor of my brother. And
congratulations!
Thank you, girl. But like you said, like when you start to, because you think like, okay, I'm gonna submit this form. I'm just gonna put my idea up there, and then it's just gonna boom. It's gonna be this magical thing. And then you start learning about all the little ticks and the check marks and all. You're like, wait, what? Huh?
Right.
Nope, nobody told me this.
Exactly.
Oh man, this has been really fun. So, I've got just two more questions that I would like to ask you. So one is there a event or milestone that you have hit with your business that you would like to highlight?
Oh goodness. I would say when I had my book signing, I had my first book signing, and I didn't think I would be able to have it due to the pandemic and everything, but we were able to do it outside. I got a rental at a park, and again, my friends came to help me set up, and then I had people actually come by and come through. So it was really I think that was a good milestone, because again, in my mind, I thought I was going to be in this library, and I would be it would be a lot of people, and I would be able to like read my book. That in my mind before the pandemic, that's how it was going to happen. But it was really, really good, and just to be able again to have people come out masked up, just and get a book. That was just a really just great experience. So I would definitely say besides publishing the book, I would say having the book signing.
That's awesome. I love it. And I'm glad that, like you said, even though it didn't turn out the way you thought in your mind, you were still able to do it. And who knows, like your next book signing just might be the way you thought in your mind.
It just might be.
There will be a next one.
Yes, there will be a next one.
And the last question I would like to ask you is, what is a quote that you use on a regular basis that continues to inspire you and motivate you and push you to keep going?
I could do all things through Christ that strengthens me. And I know that sounds like maybe typical response, but seriously, besides people that have helped me, through this process, like it only by the grace of God have I been able to get through this, while grieving myself, and just work towards my business, work towards my book, work on me, by the grace and the strength of God. So absolutely, that I could do all things by his strength.
Yes. And I'm just going to say amen to that. I'm going to second that, because you're right. Literally, I mean, and I know that everyone out there doesn't share the same faith, but for those who do share in the faith of, Christianity and believing in Christ, I just know that, just like you said, there is no way even getting to this point in life.
Yeah.
Could we have made it without just his grace and just his covering? And, it's a blessing to have him in our lives. And it's a blessing to be able to have individuals like you that he brings into our lives. So I just, again, want to say thank you for taking time out to do this interview with me. And real quick, let people know how they can reach you and how they can find you.
Absolutely. So I can be found on Facebook and Instagram, author Christina Stanley. That's one word, author Christina Stanley. Also, I can be found on my website, www.joyupservices.com. You can look at my services. You can book a free 30-minute support session to discuss if my services will fit you or your child's needs. And also you can purchase my book. And I do have a interactive grief workbook for children. And I also have a e-tick book for grief during the holidays that is available for purchase.
Awesome. So you guys go check her out. Go check her out on Facebook. Go check out her website. And if you have not done so already, I want to encourage you to stop, take a moment, find a reason to laugh, and keep smiling. Until next time, and always be blessed.